not so much down the third base line as above it for the final episode of Flow Talk of the 2024 regular season. Jesse Cook with you next to relief pitcher Logan Campbell, although I hear you're trying to move into more of a long inning starter role.
You know, I think that's a kind of a next year talk for sure. Obviously, we're kind of towards the end of the season. We got some dudes in the dog days of baseball right now, and I think all arms need to be on deck kind of towards the end of the season. So I'm really up for anything. I'd like to say I'm a hot pocket. You know, you put me in the oven, I'm out there ready to go. So
love to hear that. And as the season's wrapping up, players are looking towards the off season, but there is still a little bit more time to go. Another couple days here at Thomas More Stadium. Do you have a favorite part of the ballpark?
I mean, we just got the new clubhouse, so
that's pretty great.
It's kind of nice rather than sitting out there in that bullpen, because we had to walk up and down to use the restroom and whatnot. So, but no, it's nice sitting down here. We got some shade cover, and it's always funny, you know, when opposing guys come in and it's a hot day, they're out there baking, and we're over there all comfortable. So it's nice going in there, get the AC, get the refreshments. You know, they do a really nice job of that clubhouse for us, and from a stretching standpoint or even from the, you know, athletic training room, we got everything we need over there, and it's nice to have. So I'd say that's my favorite part.
And you took a break from the Alls. You're in the Reds organization.
Yep.
I can't remember. Were you here when the team moved into the new clubhouse?
No, I just missed them moving in. So I was here for about 2.5, 3 weeks, I'll say. I was over in the old clubhouse, and then as soon as I got picked up by the Reds, I think 4 or 5 days later they got moved in, and all I heard was in the group chat, like, this place is awesome, this is awesome. So it was fun. When I came back, though, I mean, I was like, yeah, this is a real deal. You know, it's up there with affiliate level type of stuff. I was with the Twins, obviously, and then obviously with the Reds as well. Bouncing back and forth through all those affiliate kind of fields is like, they're doing something here. That's for sure. Y'alls are doing it right.
And we're in the suite today.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time for me.
Almost every other episode of Flow Talk, besides Darian Williams yesterday, it's been down the third baseline, but we figured it's nearly 100 degrees.
100%.
Let's get you guys some air conditioning.
I'll take it.
Special.
I'll take it. The fans are going. It's cold in here, and I like it. It's easier to talk.
And it's comfortable in here. You're pretty comfortable with the microphone, with Under the Feather. How did that start with Chris Paddock? How did you guys get to know each other?
Man, I mean, there's a long story, but basically me and Chris had the Tommy John surgery together. Not like identical day, but we both unfortunately had it, I think in 2021. And we were just rehabbing together, and we crossed paths and kind of started talking about some hunting, baseball, fishing, and then we just kind of got to talking, and turned out to be we started a company called Mad Duck Outfitters together, and it's kind of blown up from there. And we were like, man, we want to like kind of tell our story more, and that's where Under the Feathers happened. And it's a podcast that we have on Apple and Spotify, and we just bring on guests. We talk about our experience as baseball players, and also our experience as a new passion we're picking up along the line, and that's duck hunting. You know, we started this outfitter a year ago. We're not calling ourselves the best duck hunting outfitter, but hey, we're two professional baseball players. We just have a passion for it, and we just want to involve the people that enjoy the game of baseball to come hunt with us, to enjoy the outdoors, you know, get the kids off the couch, get them off the video games, and show them like, hey, there's more to life than, you know, staying inside, this and that. You know, we do baseball to get you outside, you know, come hunt with us. So that's something we really enjoy doing, and that's a startup for us, and we're hoping that it gets to a point that just kids look up to us, not only on the field, but in the field. So it's a good time. I'm fired up for it, and it's going exactly how I wanted it to.
Would you call yourself the best duck hunting outfit in pro baseball?
Well, there is one other guy out there. It's got Crash Landing. He's an ex-big leaguer, and he's doing his own thing as well. But I think we have a little bit twist over at Mad Duck. We're bringing some new style of duck hunting. You know, we're really involved in the baseball side of things. We have some cool merchandise, some cool videos that we're dropping, and all this, and obviously our podcast, which nobody else is doing that. So.
And you brought a couple Y'all's players in on the mix with the podcast.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Getting to know their baseball story. Alex Wagner, Ken Kleiman. You're telling me before we started recording, I think Reed Smith and Ed Johnson.
Yep. Reed.
How did that get together?
So me and Reed are roommates on the road. And obviously he's he's a starter here, and he's a Texas boy, and that's kind of where Mad Duck originated from. And we got to talking. He hunts, and then Ed is also a big hunter, duck hunter as well. So obviously, if you're a hunter, you know the combination of talk. You guys have a certain lingo of the way you talk to each other, and I was like, man, I think us three should hop on a podcast. And I brought all the gear, and we hopped on a podcast, and I think we talked for about 2 hours. And I had to chop it up, edit it up, and I threw it out, and it's our latest episode on Under the Feathers. I don't want to tell too much. You guys got to go check it out. So
I've got a big flight coming up later this week.
Yeah.
Will I be able to listen to it?
you got to download. You got to download it before you hop on the flight.
Will do, but it's out there.
It's out there. It is out there.
Now, you're dragged in Alex Wagner and Kent Kleiman, and I always pass you guys in the conference room rubbing baseballs with microphones around. Are the mics rolling?
Mics are always hot. If the mics are around, they're always hot. I just always want to catch something, funny, a cool conversation, because, I mean, it's cool when you get people on the headphones on and the mics in front of them. They say some cool stuff because they're really thinking about what they want to say. And it was an episode called "Rubbing Balls" with Kent Kleiman and Alex Wagner, and it's just cool. We rub baseballs every day, and I was just like, man, let's just throw the mics down and see what happens. And I've just been doing it every once in a while, and I might pick in and out of those times of rubbing up the baseballs because it's just cool, the stories. They both have been y'alls for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. So they got some cool stories when it comes to, being a Florence y'all, and also, their past experience and all their hobbies outside of baseball.
What does rubbing the baseballs do? Is that just something to do with your hands while you're talking, or does it help you get a feel for it?
No, so obviously, we're rubbing up the baseballs for the game that night. And we take some pride in that. Because we're all three of us are baseball. I mean, we're all three pitchers out there. So when we grab a ball out there, we want to be like, all right, yeah, this is a good baseball. Because if you just take a ball out of the bag, it's not the best what you want. You want to rub off the little layer of, I call it the wax layer. It makes it slippery. You put the mud on there and, get that off, and then it's game ready after that.
So I caught in high school. I caught for about a decade.
Yeah.
And there it's always, okay, here's a baseball. It's just whatever the umpire gives you. I didn't know that there was that aspect of it on the pitching side.
Yeah.
In affiliated balls, is that something that more pitchers do?
Normally it's umpires do it. It's an umpire's job. But they can hand out the baseballs to usually either the clubby or whatnot. But we take a little passion behind it and making sure that the balls that are going out there are top quality, and we've heard from multiple guys, multiple teams, that we probably have the best rubbed up balls, and there's no there's no struggle when it goes out there. I've been at other teams, and I'm just like, man, what is this ball? And I'm throwing ball after ball out. So I think me, Wag, and Ken, I would say Wags and Ken are definitely more passionate about it and make sure they do it the right way.
So nobody rubs balls better than the Florence Y'alls.
That's right.
So let's move over towards affiliated ball.
Yeah.
You started the year, well, you didn't start the year with the Y'alls, but you joined them early on in the season.
Yeah.
Then you get picked up by the Reds. You were also with the Twins, like you said. What's it like those first 10 minutes after you get the phone call that a Major League organization wants you?
Obviously, this can go all the way back to the Twins. The first time I ever got picked up, obviously out of college, I was a senior. That call really hit. I was with my family, being able to be like, hey, Mom, I did it. I did this for you type of situation. And, seeing her cry, being able to hug her and, feel that, success. And obviously, everything that happened with the Twins, TJ, and then getting released, I ended up, ending up at Florence, but I pitched well for those 3 weeks I was here, and got another opportunity with the Reds. And what was funny is, I've told this to, I think, 3 people, is I actually had a dream that night that I got a call from the Cincinnati Reds, and I was going to get picked up. And that morning, I got a call from the Reds that I got picked up. So I don't know if it was like a dream come true type of situation, because it actually happened, but no, I got the call, and it was one of those things again where I think the words I said to my mom is, I did it, Mom, again, because she thought, I thought I'd never get another opportunity, just because this world of baseball is kind of tough right now with all the roster cuts and whatnot. But obviously, a place like Florence, it's like we get those opportunities to really show ourselves again. And, I got it with the Reds, and it was like, I did it. I'm here again. I'm not going to let this slip. And unfortunately, it kind of did slip from me. I kind of went in right before the draft, the upcoming draft, and I was the older guy, not a lot of money behind me. Another part of the business world, that baseball business world, that a lot of outsiders don't really see. But it involves, if you have money behind you and whatnot, and if you want to get stuck around. But unfortunately, when the draft came in, they needed to make some room, and I just got there, and I was kind of the older guy in the area, and I could have pitched better, absolutely. But it was kind of a comfortability thing. I went to Arizona, and then I went to Daytona. I pitched 3 innings in Daytona, and then I got released. So a guy had to come in right after me. He was a high school sign, whatever. And but yeah, so I was actually, my car was in Florence because I got picked up from Cincinnati, and so I got my flight back to Florence, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. And obviously I was in Cincinnati, and I was like, something feels like I need to stay here and finish out the season and go out the right way rather than just hang out my cleats. And fortunately enough, I think that was like one of my best decisions in my life so far, just because I didn't really want that game to be taken away from me like that. I think I deserved more, the amount of time I put into it, and how much the game means to me as a person. I'll live and die by it for sure. So I called Chad, and I was like, hey man, I just, what do you got for me? I'm kind of in a tough situation. He's like, you're always welcome here. He's like, you're family, you're a part of this team, and we wouldn't be where we're at in the season without some of your help along the way, and we'd love to have you back. And they were actually on the road, I think in Chicago or somewhere. He said, go to the field, throw, do what you need to do. We'll sit down and talk. And we sat down and talked, and he said he had a spot for me on the team after getting released from the Reds, and I got back on the team, and ever since then it's been fun. This team's special. We're doing the record doesn't show, but the fun of the game is here at Florence for sure.
I mean, it is fun here. I think that's one of
Oh,
the
absolutely.
advertising factors of the team, is that people have fun at the game, players have fun being here. And you mentioned that the team was on the road in the Chicago area.
Yeah.
So I was there. It was in Joliet, and as luck would have it, on the way there, Cam Farrer got picked.
Yes, absolutely.
So that opened up a roster spot.
Right.
And so we come back, and here's Logan Campbell waiting to pitch. And I think a lot of guys in the locker room were really relieved to see that. What does it mean to have the support of guys like Chad Rhodes behind you and just waiting for you?
Absolutely. I mean, to start off, Chad is one of the better managers I've played for. He knows his stuff. He knows how to keep a team in line, but also have fun along the way. And I think what he's doing here, we just had our exit meetings. I told him I've been nothing but impressed with him. He does things right way, along with the guys that he has underneath him. Craigie, Massey, all the other guys. They do such a great job. It's just when I say family, I really mean it. I'm not saying that just because I'm in front of cameras. Like, we have something special at Florence, and I think in a couple years or maybe next year, we're going to be at a point where people are going to be like, hey, have you watched the Florence Y'alls this year? Because they're doing something special.
We always talk with the assistant coaches before games, and something called our conversation with coach. It goes on our pregame show. And yesterday, Craig Massey talked about how he feels like this team just got really close. And while the playoff race is not over yet, it does look kind of grim. The tragic number is 1. So if Lake Erie wins a game, then the season is over.
Yep.
But it's not a lost season. I mean, there's a lot of positives. It's an improvement from last year. And with guys like Craig Massey saying this team is really close and it has all the makings, it inspires a lot of confidence going into next season. Now, moving back towards that family aspect of the team, you keep talking about your mom too.
Yeah.
So having your parents just with you every step of the way, how does that affect your decision making?
I mean, so when I was very close to giving it up, my mom was a big factor. Is usually she's a crier, but this time it was kind of like more me saying like, I don't know what to do, Mom. And she didn't, without a skip and a breath, she goes, Logan, your love for the game is in baseball. Like, you need to go out the right way. You need to do the right thing. And that's just because, yeah, she's not here every game with me because she's up in Michigan. But for her to get the enjoyment of just seeing how happy the game makes me, that's all she can ask for. And that just goes back to, like, the steps along the way is always we all know the family side of stuff is like having somebody in your corner that brings you where you want to be. day in and day out. It's like my reason why I play this game is for my mom. You know, she means a lot to me, and if I can bring her joy by doing something I love, I'll do that every single day. So when she tells me, you know, hey, you need to give it up, maybe I'm like, all right, Mom, you're right. I am getting a little too old. So if Mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So that's kind of it's fun, and you know, obviously I got other family members, you know, my grandma and all them, and you know, brothers and sisters. It's just it's an enjoyable time knowing like I got supporters, and not only that, it's like friends are so important to me. Outside of, you know, my teammates, I got my friends back home, and obviously I got Chris Paddock and those type of guys that I can look up to outside of the game that really keep pushing me. Like, hey, dude, you don't want to work a 9 to 5. You know, bust your ass in that weight room, bust your ass on that field, and get where you want to be. So.
What did that support look like in the Twins and Reds organizations from them?
From a family perspective, or
Yeah.
from like a support within their organization?
From your family?
Oh, I mean, getting released obviously it's tough. You know, that's kind of like is this the end of the road type of situation, and they were always like, this ain't the end for you. They've always been super supportive. It really the hardest one, honestly, for me was the Twins, but that was more understanding. I had TJ and whatnot, and then the Reds was just like, man, I don't know what to do. And they always pick me up off the feet, pick me off the ground and put me back on my feet, and I just got up and ran again. And obviously, I'm running here at Florence, so it's been fun. I'm glad I'm here. So.
You keep talking about yourself as one of the older players, a veteran presence on the team, which must feel weird at a certain point because you're still young. I mean, in my mind, baseball players under 30 still have a big future ahead.
Yeah.
I say that as a 22-year-old. So definitely a lot of experience to be gained.
Right.
But how did that come to be, changing the outlook from I'm one of the new guys to players are now looking to me?
Right. I think that just comes with, you know, I've always been a leader by heart. When I came here, obviously, you know, I had to feel out the guys, make sure, you know, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. But when I found an opportunity to kind of be that leader of guys looking up to me, I wanted to take that and run with it. And ever since then, I think, you know, guys look up to me, you know, from my performance on the field, but also like how I carry myself about doing stuff around the clubhouse, how I work out off the field. Like there's guys on the team that look up to me, and I don't want to ever have them be like, hey, I don't know if he's doing the right thing. It's like I want to make sure I'm doing the stuff the right way. And I think that comes with, you know, being around an affiliate level where these guys want to be at. You know, some of these younger guys are like, hey, I still have a shot of going to affiliate. I'm like, hey, I've been there. Ask me questions. I'll tell you everything you need to know, what you need to do, how to act, and, you know, what to say and what not to say. And I think that's what, you know, when I came here and realized, like, hey, I could be one of those guys, I took it for sure because, like I said, I was a leader by heart, and I just love being that. I feel more comfortable rather than kind of hiding in the dark. I'm a pretty outspoken guy, especially when I'm out on the field.
And it sounds like you take a lot of pride in all this. Why is it important to be that leader for these guys?
You know, we're young. We're definitely a younger team. We have the older guys, you know, the Kent, the Wags, obviously the Massey. I think I think that's what makes that team. It's like if we're all a leader, we're going to be great. And if we have, you know, a couple of those leaders that everybody looks up to, we're still going to be great. But if we're all individually, you know, trying to do something different, it's going to be a little hard to be where you want to be and win those games when it comes down to like a team moment and an I guy moment. So I think when it's finding the happy medium in being a leader and also still being a player. And I think we found that here at Florence is, you know, we still have those guys to pick up me when I'm not there, or when I'm struggling, I got guys to pick me up and vice versa. And I think teaching these young guys how to be the right leader in a professional organization, because none of them have never been in a pro ball. And, you know, I've been in it for 4 or 5 years now. So it's fun. I enjoy it. And I don't think I ever want to not stop being one, I'd say. So.
All this sounds like things you hear from a coach. Is that something you thought about for your future down the road?
Ooh, man. That one's a topic that, you know, it's crossed my mind. One of my best friends back home is a coach, and one of my buddies in Texas, he runs a travel ball organization, the Austin Wings, and I coach for him a little bit, and he says, man, the kids love you. They look up to you and how you go about teaching them. You have the fun, and then when you need to get serious, you can put on that face, and they'll look and they'll pay attention. So it's crossed my mind for sure. Just, I still want to pursue that game, that, me stepping out on that mound and doing my job. And when time comes, I think it'll be knocking for sure.
Now, we'll end this with looking into the immediate future. Right after we complete this interview, it's Pitchers BP.
Yeah,
now,
they're setting up.
the broadcasters, Rory and I, are also going to
Right.
be taking this. Last time, we only talked about what I did to the baseball,
Yeah.
because it was more what the baseball did to me.
Uh-huh.
But this time, going forward, how far are you hitting this ball? Are you taking a yard every time?
I'm going to stay within myself. I'm going to do what the team needs me to do. But if I'm connecting with the ball well, I'm going to try to put some out of that yard. I know, Rusty put one over the scoreboard. I'm going to try to be up there with him. That's for sure.
My goal is to hit the baseball.
Right.
And I didn't really do that last time. So do you have any advice for how to see ball, hit ball?
I would just say, keep the bat flat. Keep it on playing with the ball. The ball's coming in flat. Stay flat with the ball. You'll get the job done.
Okay, well, we'll make sure to update you all with how I do. Home run every time I'm coming up after that advice. That's the last episode of Flow Talk of 2024. Pretty good guy to talk to, Logan Campbell. I mean, dude, you've got a great insight on baseball, and I know I enjoyed listening to this.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone else will.
Yeah, get it from under the feathers, man. We talk a lot of baseball there and a lot of hunting, so make sure you guys check us out. And like I said, I love being here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Keep up with Under the Feathers. Keep up with the Florence Y'alls on all our social media platforms, and stay tuned for Flow Talk 2025 with hopefully a lot of returning characters. But I'm Jesse Cook. That's Logan Campbell. We really appreciate you watching.